You stopped feeding the pattern. Now they chased a version of you that kept answering. Not because they suddenly understand your worth, because silence exposed how much of their comfort was built on your availability. You felt the drain before the proof. Every call ended with your chest heavy and your thoughts sounding less like you. They never had to scream to control you. They only needed you kind, reachable, and afraid of seeming cold. Here is the promise they never wanted you to learn. Your silence makes their performance collapse faster than any argument. So the first move is simple. Stop explaining the distance and let the distance speak in your place. When the message arrives fishing for guilt, answer with less. Try, "I'm not available for this." Do not decorate that sentence. Manipulators feed on openings, and long explanations are just unlocked doors with softer lighting. You think silence looks rude at first, but to a draining person, your silence looks like lost access. That is why they come back warmer. The second you stop pouring, they suddenly remember how to hold the cup. Maybe it started with late-night crisis paragraphs. Every week, right when your own life needed you most, their emergency found your phone. You became the steady voice after midnight. Then morning came, and they forgot your kindness like it renewed automatically. They called you their safe person. What they often meant was easier, though they would never say it that plainly. The old version of you answered immediately. She calmed storms that were never hers, then apologized for sounding tired. The version that left does something different. She sees the message, breathes once, and answers hours later, if at all. That delay changes the whole power dynamic. Suddenly they cannot predict you, and unpredictability terrifies controlling people. Not because they loved your chaos, because they loved how reliably you fixed theirs before noticing what it cost you. This is the quiet truth underneath the chase. They are not pursuing peace with you, they are pursuing access to you. When they say, "You disappeared," hear the translation. You stopped orbiting them, and now they feel their own emptiness. When they say, "You've changed," hear the second translation. You stopped being easy to manage, and that unsettled them. The chase usually begins small and sweet. A random check-in, an old inside joke, a song they know you loved. Then comes the soft confusion. "I was just thinking about you" really means "I noticed your energy is missing." Then comes the pressure wrapped as concern. "Are you okay?" can quietly mean, "Why can't I reach you anymore?" That is the part people miss. Not every warm message is warm, especially after your silence changed the script. A healthy person can handle distance without turning it into drama. A toxic person treats distance like theft. Watch what happens when you stop rescuing the silence. They suddenly become more expressive than they ever were when you stayed. Long messages appear from nowhere. Feelings get confessed only after your emotional labor is no longer on demand. They start reminiscing about your bond. But memory becomes romantic only when convenience is threatened. They may even apologize with suspicious timing, not when you were hurting, but when your availability finally ended. That timing tells the truth. Genuine care notices your pain early, not just your absence later. Here is a silent weapon that works because it starves confusion. My answer is the same, ends the loop. Use it when they keep reopening settled things. You do not owe fresh paragraphs to people repeating old pressure. Another one is colder and sometimes necessary. "I'm not discussing this" protects your peace without inviting negotiation. Say it once, then stop typing. The real boundary is not the sentence, it is your refusal to keep performing it. You may be tempted to soften everything, but over-softening tells manipulative people there is still a hidden yes inside your no. So keep your tone calm and flat. No anger, no essay, no emotional affidavit attached to your decision. This is gray rock with dignity. You become uninteresting to their hooks and deeply loyal to your own nervous system. But that's not even the real move. The real move is refusing to explain your clarity to someone invested in your confusion. They want reasons because reasons can be debated. They want details because details create little handles they can grab. If you say you were tired, they promise change. If you say you need space, they demand a timeline. If you say they hurt you, they rewrite history. Suddenly your pain becomes a misunderstanding, a joke, or your sensitivity. So stop bringing evidence to a person committed to avoiding truth. Evidence only gives them more material to rearrange against you. Silence, on the other hand, cannot be cross-examined. It gives them nothing to twist and nothing to wear down. That is why your quiet unsettles them. It removes the stage, the audience, and the script they usually control. Think about the last time you pulled back. They likely became attentive in ways they never were before. Maybe they started liking old posts. Maybe they sent a photo from years ago, pretending nostalgia just happened naturally. Maybe they called twice, then texted, then emailed. That sudden urgency was never random. It was panic dressed as affection. Because here is the psychology underneath the chase. Manipulators confuse familiarity with ownership, and your silence breaks that illusion hard. They do not chase what left because it was perfect. They chase what left because it stopped being available. That difference matters more than most people realize. You are not being rediscovered. You are being retargeted. Now, emotional immaturity is not always calculated evil. Sometimes they truly feel abandoned because they built comfort on your overgiving. But their intention does not erase your exhaustion. A wound can be real and still become dangerous in someone else's hands. Detachment is not bitterness either. It is simply refusing to keep bleeding in places that call your blood loyalty. This is where many viewers doubt themselves. They mistake guilt for evidence, when guilt is often just a withdrawal symptom. You were trained to feel responsible for their feelings, so when you go quiet, your body confuses peace with wrongdoing. Stay still through that first wave. Your nervous system is learning a new truth. Less access does not equal cruelty. If this has happened to you, pause here. What changed when you got quieter, and how did they react? Leave your experience in the comments. Your story might name the pattern someone else is still trying to explain away. Maybe they suddenly became affectionate. Maybe they got colder, sharper, or strangely sentimental the minute you stopped overextending. Keep reading those reactions as information. The reaction to your boundary often reveals more than the relationship ever did. Now back to the deepest part. Silence does not only remove you, it forces them to meet themselves without your cushioning. And many manipulators hate that meeting. Without your reassurance, their insecurity echoes louder than your absence ever could. So they chase the version of you that soothed it, not because they valued your peace, but because they used it. That old version laughed off disrespect to keep harmony. She answered while driving, cooking, crying, and pretending she was fine. She accepted delayed apologies as growth. She confused crumbs of effort with proof that maybe this time would be different. The one who left learned something sharper. Repetition is the truest confession most people will ever make. So when the chase begins, do not only watch their words, watch whether the pattern itself has actually changed. Are they suddenly respectful only because you withdrew? Then respect was always possible. Access simply mattered more before. Do they ask how you feel, then pivot back to themselves? That is curiosity as costume, not connection. Do they apologize, then rush your forgiveness? That is still control, just wearing a gentler cologne. Here is a quieter weapon for those moments. Noted can do what paragraphs never could. It acknowledges without reopening. It lets their message land without letting their energy move furniture inside your mind. Another strong line is brutally simple. That doesn't work for me closes more doors than emotional debates ever will. Notice what makes it powerful. It does not accuse, justify, diagnose, or beg to be understood. Manipulators love side roads. Clear sentences with no emotional luggage force them into a wall they cannot negotiate. And when they go silent after your boundary, let them. Do not rush to rescue the awkwardness they created. That silence is often punishment, not reflection. They want you uncomfortable enough to reopen the door yourself. Do not do it. The quietest part comes later, and it is where your power becomes undeniable. At first they may test softer. Then they may become dramatic, sentimental, or weirdly generous to see what still works. You might get a sudden favor offered. You might hear, "I miss the old you," said like grief. The old you was easier to drain. Missing her is not the same as honoring who you are now. Sometimes they recruit other people into the chase. A mutual friend mentions them casually, as if coincidence just loves timing. That too is data. People who respect boundaries do not build side entrances around a closed front door. So if the message comes through someone else, stay consistent. "I'm keeping my distance" is enough and complete. No backstory is required. The more concise you become, the less they can turn your honesty into a courtroom. Here's the part nobody tells you. Silence also shows you how much of the bond survived only on your effort. When you stop initiating, whole relationships expose themselves. Some people vanish because connection was never mutual to begin with. That revelation hurts before it heals. But false closeness is heavier to carry than honest distance ever will be. You may grieve the fantasy harder than the person. That is normal when you finally see how little they protected you. Still, do not confuse grief with a wrong decision. You can miss someone and still know they were harmful. You can love certain memories and still refuse new damage. Peace is not built by pretending the good erased the pattern. And if they really have changed, time will prove it quietly. Real growth respects your pace instead of pressuring your return. Healthy people do not need your immediate access to show sincerity. They become safer, not louder, when boundaries appear. Toxic people do the opposite. They turn your calm into a problem because your calm no longer feeds their position. So when they chase, ask the sharper question. Do they miss you, or do they miss influence over you? That question can save months of confusion. It separates longing from entitlement with one clean look. And once you see the answer, move accordingly. Not dramatically, not bitterly, just clearly and without extra words. Maybe that means slower replies forever. Maybe that means no more private access, no late calls, no emotional overtime. Maybe that means complete silence. Some doors stop being rude to close when you remember what kept walking through them. Whatever level you choose, make it deliberate. Peace does not need theatrics, it needs consistency. So try one quiet move this week. Delay the reflex reply, shorten the answer, and watch what their reaction reveals. Then come back and say which line hit hardest. Was it noted? My answer is the same, or pure silence. If this gave language to something you've lived, stay close. Subscribe and turn on the bell for more quiet protection. You do not need louder boundaries. You need steadier ones that do not tremble just because someone hates losing access. Let them chase the version that left. The version here now protects her peace and does not explain her escape.